Hello everyone, this is Lynn, and in today's video I will show you how you can create this card with the You Are My Sunshine Slimline die that is created by Crafty Meraki. I'm also using the Pile on the Hugs and the Slimline Snow Drifts by My Favorite Things. For this background I have die cut a panel out of Neenah using the You Are My Sunshine Slimline die. I'm going to ink blend on this panel. What you can also do is add this panel to a piece of paper already and then start blending so that your gradient will be all over your card. But for my card, I really wanted to let this background pop on top of a white card base. So I'm just blending my way up, starting with spiced marmalade, mustard seed, squeezed lemonade, and I will end up with cracked pistachio. If you want a nice blend, it's handy to go back and forth between all the colors, definitely when you are changing from color family, like I'm doing here from the squeezed lemonade to the cracked pistachio. Also, if you are new to ink blending, I would definitely recommend starting on a smoother paper, maybe something like Strathmore Bristol Smooth. There you can really take your time, the ink can still move around. While I'm using Neenah, it's less forgiving, but I really like using this paper, so it just depends on how trained you are, if you're comfortable with certain papers. Just do whatever you feel comfortable with. If you have to go back and forth, you sometimes need to really hold your paper, then I would recommend to use some sort of post-it or anything you have on hand, some purple tape, and just add it on the back of your fingers, and this way you can hold on to your panel without leaving any prints. So I'm almost finished with ink blending this background, and then I'm going to continue with my snow drifts. So therefore I have cut out two pieces using the Slimline Snow Drifts by My Favorite Things, and I'm going to use the same distress inks as I used for my background. So my first hill will be with cracked pistachio and my second one will be with squeezed lemonade. However, I need to tell you that the squeezed lemonade is a bit more warm than the color itself, because I just choose exactly the same brush as I did previously for the blending of the squeezed lemonade, mustard seed and spiced marmalade, so actually it's some sort of a blend of those three. And now I am going to see where I can cut the excess off from my second snowy hill. I'm not going to use it completely, I just wanted to peek above the left side of my first hill. For the sentiment, I'm using the same ink as I will use later on for the images, the Gina K Designs Amalgam ink, and I'm just stamping it out a few times onto this hill to get a great impression. And once that's done, I am already going to start assembling my card so that I have my background and can figure out which images will fit the best on this card. I'm using liquid glue to add this gorgeous background onto a white piece of paper that I just trimmed out, and then I can add my snowy hills as well. So I'm making sure that it is pressed on there really well, and I will remove a bit of the excess glue that I have. And then for the snowy hills I will use a combination of liquid glue as well as some foam tape, because I want to create a bit of dimension, and then my images can also be on different heights, which I really like. So a little bit of liquid glue, checking whether the height is good, wiggle it a bit, and then it's just perfect. That's the advantage of using liquid glue. And now for the bottom hill I will use some Scotch 3M foam tape, and I will add it all over the back. I prefer completely covering the back of my lifted pieces. This way it's much sturdier when it's going through mail, and chances are less high to get bulked, get ripped, get whatever they can do with our cards. But you put so much effort in it. Just make sure that you are eliminating as much as possible that things will happen when it's mailed. So I'm just placing that on the bottom, and then I have to start with my images. So for the images, I have chosen to keep it limited to these images. These boys are so adorable. I love the Pile on the Hugs stamp set. I'm Copic coloring these images, and the way I Copic color is that I start with my darkest, go to my mid-tone, and I will end up with the lightest color that I have. And then you can just go back and forth between those colors until you are happy with the blend. But there are many ways to do Copic coloring. Some people prefer starting with the lightest and building up their colors and then go back to get a nice blend. Whatever you feel comfortable with, that's the way you should approach Copic coloring, definitely. For this card also, I try to sort of find colors in my Copic markers to really match with the background that we just created. So this card is all about pastels, all about light and bright colors, and I had so much fun with making this. So the skin tones of both guys are the same. I really like this combination. I also have some darker combinations, but my markers are running dry, so I'm fixing that. But this combination is truly gorgeous. And it also really went well with the other colors that I had in mind. So for the rest of the coloring, I will put on some music and I will be back afterwards. I don't own the dies of this stamp set, so I will fussy cut these images, although I will not do that on camera because that would make this video like take days. But I will be back when the coloring is done, and then we will finish off this card together. So that was all the coloring for this card, and now I'm going to fussy cut it using my Tim Holtz scissors, just taking my time, and then we end up with these images. So for this card, since I've used dimension with the Scotch 3M foam tape, I will also be using it to add the little guy here, because this way the height of the foam is exactly the height that I need to be able to add it onto the first hill. Then the other guy I will be adding with some thin foam squares from Scrapbook adhesives, and we are just placing them. The one is throwing the snowball towards his friend and he's running away from it. I think this is so cute and so funny at the same time, and it's such an amazing stamp set to make some friendship cards, to make some winter cards. You can easily make winter cards with this one. The sentiments are all friendship related, which are so cute, and it's so wonderful to ship some cards to someone who isn't expecting anything, but just to let them know that you think about them, that you love them, that they are amazing. That's just a wonderful idea to do. And then this background, you can go really broad with this one. I've used it on a wintry themed card with a warm glow, but you can make summery cards, you can go really dark, you can choose whatever you want. This background is so versatile and I definitely think that I will use it a lot. So I hope that you think the same about this background and that you like it as much as I do. I only have a few images left to add to this card, being the snowball and then those stripes that you can see. I don't know how they are called, but I think they are a gorgeous addition to see how the ball is floating through the air. I think it's really funny. So I'm adding the final elements with some foam squares and some liquid glue. And then I will have to trim off the excess from that pile of snow. And therefore I'm using my paper trimmer. I'm not really comfortable with scissors, so I prefer using the paper trimmer whenever I can to trim off excess. And then I will add this panel to a card base. So therefore I'm using some liquid glue. With liquid glue you have some wiggle room, the same as with the second snowy hill that I added. I just add it on the back, and then I can place it onto my card base that I have already folded, and I just tapped it vertically to make sure that this was completely straight with the bottom of my card base. And once that's on there, I can add my final finishes to this card, and therefore I'm taking my Stickles diamonds to add some glitter on top of this card. I really like using Stickles whenever I'm making cards, but most of all when I am making wintry cards. I adore adding them to the accessories, for example to the scarves or the mittens or the hats, or wherever I can add Stickles. I mean, a bit of glitter on a card cannot hurt anyone, so why not add it? I was however contemplating where I was going to put it on this card. Normally I prefer adding it to the white parts of the accessories when you have, for example, a Christmas hat. But here I really wanted to add also some Stickles to the guy on the left. So that's how my card turned out in the end, and I'm really happy with it. I adore how this background came out. It really gives this card a lot of color. Here are some more pictures to let you see how this turned out. And then for the rest, I want to wish you a very wonderful day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we hope to see you back soon. Bye!